Welcome to Compliance Caddy, a popular compliance and practice management software solution for the legal sector. Its main objective is to remove compliance headaches, save time, and to efficiently help run your practice. I'd like to explain what it is, who it's for, how it saves you time, how it helps with third parties, and also take a look around the system. So what is it? Well, Compliance Caddy was originally designed to help lawyers quickly and painlessly complete the monthly COLP and COFA checks. Over time, it's broadened into a practice management system, as it includes sections dealing with HR, central records and registers, file reviews, GDPR, COVID-19, and both an internal and external library of key documents and resources. Who is it for? Well, it's primarily designed for small and medium-sized practices, although it's suitable in helping large firms ensure they've got the basics right. How it saves time? Well, once the system is set up, it should take the COLP and COFA only a few minutes a month to complete the monthly checklists. Along with the simple central records, using this system will save several hours a month compared with any paper system. It also saves you time looking for things. How many of us have wondered exactly where some central records are and whether the version number is the most recent? These concerns disappear with electronic compliance software. How does it help with third parties? Well, the software works particularly well with third-party quality assurance standards such as Lexel and the Specialist Quality Mark, and not to mention SRA standards and regulations. If you choose, you may grant temporary access to the system to an auditor or an inspector, or simply show them around. Our experience has been that I've been very impressed with the system. So let's log in and have a look at how it works. So we'll start by looking at the homepage. We've recently introduced the idea of highlighting Caddy updates in the middle of the screen. That's to highlight to users logging on of any recent changes. So you can see here a number of updates have been made with various forms and checklists and COVID-19 documents. You can see some navigation bars at the top of the page. Let's start by looking at the risk register, which is contained in the registers and forms section. So risks are divided into different categories, as shown in this drop-down box. Those categories were defined by the SRA, so we're simply following SRA practice. If, for instance, we look at operational risks, most of these risks would apply to almost every law firm. For instance, having inadequate systems and controls, client care letters containing incomplete or inaccurate information, undertakings not being discharged, accepting unsuitable instructions, and coping with catastrophic events. The breach register, you'll probably be familiar with. It's a register for recording any serious and non-serious breaches. It's simple to create a new record by simply clicking on the Add New button. We have a few simple fields to complete, and if the user is stuck about the meaning of any particular question, there is help on the right-hand side. So, for instance, the most commonly asked question is, was our breach a serious one or not? And if you ask yourself those 5 questions, that should help you with understanding whether or not the breach is serious. If you are still concerned, we would of course be happy to offer our opinion. Now you'll notice there is a download and an upload button. The download button enables you to take control of your data. So if you decided to use the system, but later on had a change of heart, you would not be held hostage to your data, and there would be no fee for you downloading any of your data into Excel spreadsheets. And this is a feature throughout the system. The upload button enables you to upload any existing registers you have in Excel format. Before we upload your spreadsheets, we make sure that the number of columns match, and then the upload is very straightforward. Let's have a look at central records. Your regulator would expect you to keep some of these records up to date, whilst quality standards such as Lexel and a specialist quality mark insist on certain records and registers being maintained. For example, most firms will have a list of approved suppliers. For example, counsel, interpreters, medical experts, and other suppliers used during the course of a case. For example, you can see here a list of fictitious experts. And it's very easy to add a new expert by simply clicking on the Add New button. Let's look at one other central record, website management records. This is particularly topical given the SRA's sweep of solicitor websites. Completing website management records provides evidence that the website has been reviewed for compliance against the SRA transparency rules and also the ICO's data protection rules regarding privacy notices. Now let's move on to the COLP and COFA monthly checklists. Now, if we were to add a new checklist, let's imagine that we were reviewing compliance in the month of May 2020. You can see from the top of the page there's 6 steps, or in other words, 6 pages. We have put default answers to most of the questions in this checklist. That's because our users require the system to be speedy and simple. So if you had no problems to report, it would take a matter of minutes to complete the 6 steps. If, on the other hand, there was an issue, you would click on the appropriate button. You could explain what the issue is. So, for example, no fire reviews undertaken in the month of May because of lockdown. Corrective action not applicable. Who is responsible? Let's say the COLP. By when? Let's say a review next month. And the date that we completed this, we'll say is the 6th of May. Now, some questions there about outsourcing, third-party introduction and fee sharing, and contractors. Now, if you're keeping the central records up to date, you shouldn't have any concerns to report. Let's move on to the next page. So here we have a list of what to do when recruiting new members of staff. On this next page, we have some questions about risk management. And on this page, we cover areas such as conflict, undertakings, and complaints. Here we have questions covering data security, regulatory compliance, and financial stability. Financial stability used to be the preserve of the COFA, but since the new regulations were introduced in November of 2019, this has now moved to the COLP. Finally, we have some questions here about the operation of the COLP role and confirmation that the checklist has been completed in full. The final question, of course, cannot be answered for you. So here you would need to click on yes before clicking on finish. You can then view the checklist. Now, this is really useful if you need to print the checklist and take evidence of the completed checklist to a partners meeting or perhaps a trustee board meeting. It provides objective evidence of compliance in action. So quite simply, I would press Control P on my keyboard, and that provides us with a print-friendly dialog. If you want to see the COLP monthly checklist, please do get in touch and I'll be happy to provide you with a personalised demonstration. Under Employees and Training, we have the firm competence statement, plus the training plan, individual training plans and training records, together with a list of various areas where staff need to keep their knowledge and skills up to date. On the left-hand side, we have individual annual leave and sickness records for each member of staff, and a number of other useful forms and checklists. In case you are wondering, you can define which members of staff have access to which parts of the system. For instance, you would expect every member of staff to have access to the training plan and training record, but not necessarily to the COLP and COFA monthly checklists. Looking at the file reviews section, there are two alternative methods of undertaking file reviews. You can either use one of the electronic forms to complete your file reviews, or you can use your own file review document and simply upload your paper record onto the system. One of the key features of the system is that because it is paperless and stored in the cloud, you cannot lose your documents. So important records such as your business plan and your business continuity plan and other documents will be kept without fear of them being lost. The data is securely stored and backed up on EU and UK compliance servers using Amazon in Dublin. Now you can see there's two sections called firm documents. The first area is not particularly sensitive. The second is. So I mentioned earlier about file reviews, the idea that you could upload them. Very, very simple to upload. You simply would find the file on your system and upload it as a PDF document. We're very responsive to what clients tell us that they would like. So consequently, this system improves and updates every month. So some of our clients told us they would like the facility of uploading certain certificates. So they're able to do that. Similarly, they're able to upload their key quality assurance documents, client satisfaction questionnaires, approved suppliers forms, etc. So all of this relates to the specific individual firm. Moving on to restricted access, these documents relate to the firm but are more sensitive. So we have records of previous breaches, confidential employees records, confidential financial records, details of legal aid contracts if applicable, and then complaints handling. We've simply split complaints up into alphabetical order, really in case a large firm has a significant number of complaints, and doing it this way just makes it so much easier to find. There's also a GDPR section which enables you to meet your GDPR obligations. And over here we have a library and resources section. So this library provides access primarily for retainer clients to our compliance bulletins, which are very popular, some of our training documents and guidance, our email checker. That's a piece of software which integrates with Outlook, which enables a lawyer to double check that the recipients listed in the email are all correct and any documents attached are appropriate. Over here, we have webinars and other courses and some other useful documents at the bottom of the page. Another area used by our retainer clients is the COVID-19 guidance. So as soon as the lockdown was introduced, we worked very quickly to get out very detailed guidance to our retainer clients, which included a template where you had decided to furlough an employee. Now that's a very quick look around the system. We've just picked out certain areas. By no means have we really covered a great deal, but I'm conscious that this is a short demonstration only. And if you would like further detail, we'd be very pleased to provide you with a personalized demonstration. Thank you for your time and attention. Bye for now.